Hello and welcome. Today we're looking at the Hubsan Zino drone. This 4K foldable brushless GPS quadcopter has a 3-axis gimbal. It has plenty of automated features such as waypoints, follow me, orbit, return to home, auto takeoff, auto land, and plenty of others. So let's check it out. Now the drone comes in this small square white box showing the drone there in the front, and this is the Hubsan Zino, and here on the side it just simply says Hubsan, and on this side it has the QR code for the X Hubsan app that you download for your mobile device. Here in the back it says Hubsan Zino once again, and it has a folded picture of the quadcopter. Here on the bottom, it just simply has some warning and cautionary notes with a couple more QR codes. And here on the top, it simply has the handle and opening. So let's open it up and check it out. So we open it up here, and right away we have a message from Hubsan here. It says, "We fly with your dreams." Pretty fancy there. And here is the layout. Very nice. So let's check it out. We'll remove this piece of cardboard here and this one over here, and let's have a closer look at the drone. Very nice. And it has its gimbal guard right there. Very good gimbal guard. And as you can see, it's all folded and compact and looks very sleek with its foldable propellers and arms. And it says Hubsan Zino there at the top. So very nice quadcopter. And this is the white model. I believe they recently released a black model as well. Here we have the transmitter in this compartment right over here, and it has the fold out antennas, which are legitimate antennas, long range antennas with wiring inside. And it has a built-in battery, and it has a long foldable connection there at the bottom, so you can put a large mobile device but not quite a tablet. And looking further into the box, we have this small sub box here that says spare parts. And so let's open it up and check it out. Right away we have some spare propellers and screws, so that's pretty cool. Here's the screwdriver. And then there's a compartment in here, so we'll just open it up. And there's a lot of accessories in here. We have the charging cable right here, or charging adapter, because this basically uses a small balance charger right here from Hubsan. And then we have the micro USB charge cable for the transmitter. And then we have a charge plug right here also for the balance charger, and this is the US plug. There's also a European plug version as well. And here we have the connection cables for the mobile device to transmitter, and it comes for all the different models. We have the micro USB connection if you have an Android device. There's also one with the lightning connector, and there's one with a USB-C connector. So it's compatible with many mobile devices. And here we have this little bag with a little connector that says that it's for upgrading the TX or transmitter. So it's used for updating the firmware on the transmitter. And last but not least, we have the instruction manual. And it's a small little booklet, but it has plenty of information in here, but it is pretty small, so the pictures and texts are pretty small there, so definitely might need some glasses to look through this, but pretty detailed, so very good. And so now let's organize all this and take one last look at the contents of the box. Now, taking a last look at the contents of the box, we have the drone itself with its 11.4 volt 3000 milliamp 8C LiPo battery. We have its spare propellers along with screws and a screwdriver. We have the parts of the balance charger, which include the balance charger, the wall adapter, and the adapter cable. We have 3 cables that connect the mobile device to the transmitter, and they're in the Lightning connector, USB-C connector, and micro USB connector. We have a micro USB charge cable for the transmitter itself, the upgrade cable for the transmitter, and the instruction manuals. So those are essentially the contents of the box. Now let's take a closer look at the drone. Now, taking a closer look at the drone, this is a cool looking drone that somewhat looks like a white DJI Mavic, as it is foldable. And here in the front you could see its 4K camera that is equipped with a 3-axis motorized brushless gimbal that fully stabilizes any video footage recorded on it. And here on the side of the drone, it saves the footage on the onboard SD card slot right here. That saves a max of 30 frames per second in 4K, 60 frames per second in 1080p, or 120 frames per second in 720p. Here is its micro USB slot for upgrading the drone's firmware. And here at the top you can see it says Hubsan Zino, and it is a brushless motor drone with foldable propellers and no propeller guards. And it is foldable, and folding it is very easy. You start out with the rear legs followed by the front legs, and you have to align the propellers a certain way so that you get a optimal fold. And here you can see it's all folded and compact and looks very slick. Here you can see the camera and gimbal, and it does come with a camera and gimbal guard to protect those, and it folds out very easily. As you can see here, you just start with the front legs and the rear ones to fold it back out, and it has a real firm and well-built fold. And now looking at the battery bay here for a second, it has a very spacious battery bay with an opening there at the bottom, and it has a fairly large battery that comes in at 11.4 volts, 3000 milliamps with an 8C rating. And it does charge with the included balance charger, and you just simply connect the adapter here to the front of the balance charger, and it connects there to the battery. And then of course there is the wall adapter that connects to the balance charger. Now that charges pretty well, but takes a little while, and you could try another option right here, which is the B3 Max. And this is a 20-watt charger, and it will charge the battery in a lot less time. And you just simply plug in the adapter cable right in there, and then you can fully charge the battery with this charger, which is more precise. So that's just a recommendation there if you want to use a different hobby grade charger that's not the included Hubsan one. And it can take anywhere from a couple to 3 or 4 hours to fully charge the battery, and it provides the drone with around a 20 to 23 minute flight time. And as you can see, it locks in there, and we can simply turn on the drone by keeping the button pressed, and right away you could see the bright LEDs, the red ones in the back and the blue ones in the front, so very good for orientation. And here you could see the motorized gimbal in action. You can see how it smooths out the camera right there. So if you tilt the drone up or down or tilt it sideways, you can see it is stabilizing the camera and the footage as well. So very good job there by the camera and gimbal. So that's essentially it for the quadcopter. Now let's take a closer look at the transmitter. Now, taking a closer look at the transmitter, this is a very comfortable and compact transmitter that somewhat looks like a white DJI controller. And here in the back it has a built-in 3.7 volt 2600 milliamp LiPo battery, so no additional batteries needed. And that internal battery charges right here through a micro USB port, and this port is also used to connect to the mobile device for FPV and app usage. Down below there's a compartment here for putting in the mobile device, which is pretty large but not quite for a tablet. And down below you could see there are a couple of ports there, perhaps for upgrading the firmware on the transmitter. And going over the controls a bit, we have the left throttle stick and the right rudder stick. And then we have the on-off button right here. We have the return to home button right over here. We have the auto takeoff and land button here, and the sport mode switch down below. And we also have some LEDs. And here at the top, we have the scroll wheel, so you can tilt the camera 90 degrees. And here we have the photo button, so you can take photos. And on the other side, we have the video button, so you can take video. And looking at the antennas, they are legitimate antennas with wiring, and they are long-range antennas that provide the quadcopter with around a 1 kilometer range of control. So very good. And you can tilt them to the side. And now, as far as connecting the transmitter to your cell phone using one of the compatible cables, you would simply plug it on the side there through the micro USB port, and then place the mobile device or cell phone underneath, and then plug in the appropriate connection or plug to the main outlet of the phone. So overall, a very comfortable, powerful long-range controller. And so now let's take a look at setting this up for a first-time flight and its app. Now, setting up for a first-time flight is fairly straightforward. Once you have a fully charged battery inserted into the drone, along with a high-speed recording SD card, and have fully charged the transmitter's battery, and have attached a mobile device or cell phone to the transmitter with the connection cable, you would proceed to activate the drone by keeping its on-off button here at the top pressed until you hear some beeps and see the lights start to flash. At that point, you'd keep the on-off button pressed on the transmitter until you see the lights go solid, and that should take a few seconds, as the lights on the transmitter will flash for a few seconds. And once they bind, you can connect to the drone's Wi-Fi and app to perform GPS, compass, and gyro calibrations. Now, once in your mobile device's Wi-Fi settings, you want to look for an entry that says Hubsan Zino and a serial number. And so you want to connect to that, and initially it does have a Wi-Fi password of 1 through 8. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so once you enter in that password, you should connect to that Wi-Fi entry. And once connected, you want to go ahead and launch this app right here, which is the X Hubsan app with the white icon, and it's in both the iOS and Android app stores. So you would go ahead and launch that, and you should be greeted with this screen right here. Now, initially you will have to create a Hubsan account. So once you have your username and password, you would simply log in. You can access your account information and photo galleries, etc. But primarily you want to go here where it says enter device, and it'll say how to pair or enter main interface. And so you would go to enter main interface, and right away you should get a live FPV feed with the quadcopter, as you can see here. And now you want to connect to the actual controller. So you would go to the settings here on the upper right hand corner, and then you would go to this icon right here, and then you would select the Hubsan Zino controller from the list. So you would select that and click connect and wait a few seconds, and it should reboot the app or the connection with the drone, as you can see here. And then once it reboots, you'll have full connectivity with the controller, and you'll have FPV, and you'll be able to use the transmitter. And you can also use just the mobile device to fly it if necessary. And now, taking a look here at the FPV transmission, it's a very clear and low latency transmission through 5G Wi-Fi, and it has a very good FPV range of about 1 kilometer is what it's advertised as. Might be a little less, but very good FPV transmission there. And now taking a closer look here at the app, we have lots of telemetry and settings with the app here. Down below we have the speed, the height, the distance, the pitch, the roll, the yaw. So lots of telemetry there, along with the number of satellites, the signal strength, and the battery percentages on both the drone and transmitter. Here on the right, you can change between the photo and video mode, and also you have options for each. Down below here, you can access the photo gallery and the saved images on the aircraft SD card or locally on the app. And so looking at the settings here for the photo and video, there are settings for resolution, frame rate, white balance, color, video format. Here there are for ISO, exposure, saturation, contrast, sharpness, etc. So plenty of settings here to adjust the video and photo images. And here you can also set the resolution, whether it's in 4K, 2K, 1080p, or 720p. So you can adjust that. Here we have plenty of settings for the aircraft, such as waypoint settings and setting the maximum height and speed. Here we have joystick settings to set in mode 1 or 2. Here we have controller settings to set the Wi-Fi channels. Here we have the gimbal settings to increase or decrease the speed of the gimbal. And then here we have some map settings to set the satellite image or not. And last but not least, we have other settings to either calibrate the GPS compass or the gyros. So that's essentially it there for the settings. And up here, once again, there's a lot of telemetry, such as the number of connected satellites, the signal strength, and the battery percentages on both the transmitter and drone. Here are the advanced modes, such as waypoints, orbit, and following. And so essentially for waypoints, you would enter in the map view. And once in the map view, you can mark or draw your waypoints and hit the auto takeoff or submit button, and it will fly those waypoints. And then in the other modes, you can orbit the aircraft or have it follow, and you can use mission plan waypoints or waypoints from memory. So plenty of neat features there within the app. And so overall, a very feature-rich app and a drone with many possibilities. The gimbal on this drone is excellent. It does an excellent job of smoothing out the video, and the quality of the video and footage taken by the aircraft is magnificent, especially at this price. And it flies very well. It is a little more complicated than some of the other quadcopters to get started, but aside from that, it is an excellent drone with excellent video footage and quality. So let's take her for a spin and see how she performs.